Welcome to the Dream Team Academy podcast, where we help you make your business dreams come true.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in this world today. Welcome to the Dream Team Academy podcast, where you learn and get inspired to do the things you love, to live a life you love. And we have, as you can see, a very active guest today who's dancing already. I feel like I'm back at Unleash the Power Within with Tony Robbins. We have a lady.
Have you done
We have a lady who is, I have to read this, guys, because she has so many talents, I couldn't remember them all. So we're gonna she's a professional musician, she's an artist, she's a writer, she's a speaker, she's a teacher, she's a mentor, and of course she's a coach, specializing in high performance and pure potential. So how about that? So we're going to look at what does it take to maximize your potential today. So I want to welcome Maria Adriana, originally from Chile, although she sounds English. So we're going to get into that because her story from Chile is something else. So Maria, it is so lovely to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited.
Yeah, we're so cool. It's going to be so cool. So we're going to get into it with no further ado into your story, because your story is not normal. Okay, you haven't just become a coach.
I'm not normal.
She's not normal. It's like another.
Not normal.
Oh, yes, another fellow crazy person. Excellent. So what we're doing is we're trying to find out how you got from where you were in Chile to England. That's the first part of your story, and then we'll take it to how you became this incredible mentor and coach that you are today. It's all yours. Take it away.
Oh, thank you so much. So I was born just about 50 years ago in South America, in Chile, as you can tell by my accent. And unfortunately, it was a case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, because that was just at the start of a military dictatorship. So what does that mean? It means where the political system is not going according to the way the government wants it to go, and then they stop everything, bring in military troops and kill everyone. So that's what happened, and it was really gruesome. It was mass genocide for all the people that were not with the main direction. I don't want to be binary about that.
Yeah.
And so sadly, my father was on the wrong side of that, and he was one of the many thousands that were tortured and killed to death. And so we came, so that's really shit. And so we came to England when I was 6 years old. My mum was only 36, young woman, 2 children. My brother's a little bit older than me. We came to England. She literally had $200 in her pocket, couldn't speak English.
Wow.
Refugees. And she made that shit happen. She just made it happen. Miraculously, she's a powerhouse of a woman, and literally managed to get a job. I don't know how. She's a really great biochemist. She got a job, and we just had to get on with it. And my mum is incredible, and she did an incredible job. The only missing piece for me as a young child in that environment was that I didn't speak English. I was in a very foreign land, although when I came to England, I felt really safe, and I did feel at home, and I remember that feeling. I remember that feeling because I came back from Chile in May of this year, and I felt exactly the same. And when I looked out of the window at the green fields of patchwork, I cried.
Oh.
And I thought, and this is my spiritual home, and this will always be my home. And I'm very grateful to this country for giving me a safe haven, actually, because it's not like that where I come from.
and that's why you've adopted the English accent, because you love it so much.
Well, it's the least I can do to respect and honor, when in Rome and all that. So yeah, and so the support for little refugee war-torn children wasn't probably as it may be today, 50, 40 whatever years ago. So I didn't actually have any professional support as a child, sit me down, And this is what I think is really important as well. It's really important to tell the truth to children, even if it's terrible. This is just my own experience, because children are not stupid. I believe that children are awake, they're incredibly intelligent. They may not have all of their language faculty in place, but they are absolutely fully conscious. And so I think it's important. I wish someone had sat me down and said, okay, look, this is what's happened. It's really shit. We're all really sad. You're allowed to be sad. We can all be sad together. And I wish that I was welcomed into a grieving environment, because that was hugely missing. So instead, to protect the child, sorry, I've got ink all over my fingers.
You're allowed.
I haven't, just in case you're wondering.
It's fine. Crazy guests on this show. It's fine.
So I think that's really important to actually, with all the kindness and well-intentioned, let's keep a brave face for the children. I don't think that is in service of the greater good, actually, of the child. And I'm only saying that from my own perspective. If people had just sat me down and go, look, this is what's happened. It's really shit. We're all sad. This is what we're doing. This is what's available to you. If you need any support, you come to me, or that one, or that one. Do you want a teddy bear?
Yeah, I think honesty is the best policy. And I think that parents make up stories to their children, often not even less dramatic circumstances. Like, oh, mommy and daddy still love each other, which isn't true. Like, and then, but why do you throw things at each other then, you know?
Literally.
And the child gets confused. You know, I have an exact similar story. I'm a lone parent, and my mother said to me, my son had no contact with his father whatsoever. He refused to sign the birth certificate. And my mother said, don't tell your son that, you know, tell him he has a lovely daddy somewhere. I was like, no. So I told him your father didn't want to be a father. I was like, cut and dried. I said, sorry, dad didn't want to be a dad, doesn't want anything to do with us. So we're on our own, and that's absolutely fine. And, you know, and sure, he went through his own phases of wondering and iffing and running. He's now in contact with his father. You're like, Mum, you're right. We didn't really miss anything. This is really bad. But, you know, but I probably should edit that bit out. But just in case he's watching, he probably isn't the dad, not my son. My son's cool. So the reality is that these are very formative years, and it's complicated enough without layers on top. So I totally hear what you're saying. So do you think that journey, those wounds of this confusion that was like, well, when we're struggling on, everything's changed, that kind of helped you on your journey to what you're doing today? Because you obviously tried to solve that problem. You've gone back and thought, there's something wrong here. I need to work this out.
That's very wise of you to say that. And that's true. That's exactly what happened. So I saw about me, I felt, because I'm a feeling person as well. So I felt incredible grief and anger, and all of the anger sadness cycle, you know, this curves of all of this. And also I saw a lot of conflict as well. And I made myself wrong about that. I thought, oh, it's all because of me. Like, how could that be because of a young child? But no, in my head, it was all my fault. And so obviously I tried to people please and be the peacemaker, which is one of my main archetypes, which is great for some reasons, and it's not great for other reasons, just like all of the profiles. But what's really great is to be aware of it and to be conscious of it and acknowledge it when it comes up. So what did I do to resolve all of that tension? Well, first I was just extremely depressed because I had PTSD and I still have it. So just to acknowledge that is extremely liberating. Just that in itself. And it's on a level to what the soldiers get when they've come back from war, that kind of thing. And I think many people have that and are not aware of it. So, by the way, if you're feeling a lot of anxiety, you know, number one, it's not your fault. Two, it's probably because of something that happened that had nothing to do with you. That's one of my main messages. supposed to leave that to the end, but there it is.
Powerful. Thank you for saying that.
Well, it's really important because, you know, most of the things that people worry about and freak out about and don't sleep about, it's just not your fault. And it's taken me nearly half a decade to get, do you know what? I'm innocent. I'm just a human being that tried to do my best in that crazy shit show.
Yeah.
You know, that's all right, isn't it? Everyone's tried to do their best. So why the self-hate? Why the self-criticism? So I have really put it down. I really, really sincerely have. I just think, well, you know, on balance, not doing too badly. And that's not being positivist or gaslighting myself. It's like, cut yourself some slack.
Yes.
You know, acknowledge yourself. I say to all my clients, you've been through so much. I acknowledge that first before we do anything else. You've been through a lot, haven't you? It is what it is. You know, let's acknowledge that first. Then we can create and build something else. But acknowledge what is true.
So important. So in your, I mean, you're such a natural coach, because like to the audience, everyone is listening in right now. You like, see what she's doing? She's coaching us. She's like already just speaking and coaching, and she's kind of swerving left and right. Absolutely brilliant. You're like ducking and diving, and very, very, it's a wonderful, natural, a natural flow immediately. And this is a sign of a very good coach. If you're listening, and like, this is how it should be. It should be very natural, and it should just come from their heart. So, but obviously, you had all this happen in your childhood and you went to look for solutions. So when did you start to find solutions, and when did you start your coaching journey?
Yeah, good question. By the way, your interview skills are amazing. There's one thing I love more than anything is excellent facilitation. I really, really love it. So absolutely. Ding dong, darling. So when did it happen? I put myself into counselling at school when I was 14 because I was just like, and eventually I found out, there's some school welfare thing or whatever. So I started that journey then. And then it was helpful to talk about things and be heard. And I got the power of it. And then I was just still really, really depressed and extremely broken as well, even throughout my whole life. So it's like dragging around feels like a dead body sometimes, just dragging around and trying to do life. I'm a really good actress. I can pretend like I'm amazing and really well, but actually today I'm just really honest. But you know, I've been brilliant at pretending everything's great when I've just been falling apart. So, but what I did is I decided to learn all about personal development, spirituality, self-help. I have been doing that and teaching that because I got the advice, teach what you're learning, because then you learn it better. So I started to teach 30 years ago, 31 years ago. Wow. So that's really great. And just learn as I go. And 80 or 90% of the self-help, personal development stuff, coaching, all of that transformational stuff, in my experience, isn't helpful. There's a small
wow. Hang on a minute. You just said 90% of the personal development,
in my opinion,
is not helpful.
It's not helpful. And
you heard it here. Okay, now you know.
I can explain why. So because here's what happened for me. So I have literally spent, and I'm not joking, tens of thousands of pounds on healing and self-help in every shape and form. I've done that weekend where we cry our guts out and say, I hate you, everybody, and come away hoarse. You know, the anger, sadness process, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, death and life, all of these processes I've done. But then when the horrible feelings come up again, well, then where do you go with that? Well, there it still is again, you see. So there's two huge distinctions, and I'm gonna talk about two distinctions, right? One, and I love a visual illustration, I really do. So for I didn't really prepare this, but for my first
video, poor woman.
I didn't. I thought so. My lovely little cat here. Hope you can see her, okay, Ditzy. Actually, I'm going to use Marmot because he just looks a bit more like a monster, although he's quite cute. He looks a bit more monstery. Yeah. So imagine that Marmot is all the feeling yucky and horrible. Rah, rah, rah.
Yeah.
And imagine that this really cute doll is feeling really good. Like that's what I would love to feel.
Mhm.
And that's feeling yucky,
Mhm.
feeling yucky. So
Yeah.
what personal development in general tends to do is they fix the feeling crap with coping mechanisms such as meditation. And there's nothing wrong with meditation, but I'm going to go on to talk about structures after this, and it depends what structure, what framework you use a modality in, whether it works or not.
Yeah.
If you're using something like positive affirmations or positive thinking, and feel free to attack the bleep out of me about this, because you will, because everyone does, but you positive. So Marmot's feeling really shit today because he's so tired, and there's just so much light, and he just can't sleep at night because he's so hot, because he's having hot flashes, and he can't sleep through the night. So he's really grumpy and grizzly, and he's just feeling crap. So traditional legacy personal development will serve to fix that and take something for it, some natural remedies, some this, some detox, something else, maybe some oils, maybe some EFT, maybe some affirmations, maybe read something inspiring, maybe listen to your podcast. Not knocking it, but I do it too. It's the fabric of life. And then what happens on an unconscious level? So like I was saying about children are extremely intelligent. I believe children are awake. They may not have the communication faculty, but it doesn't mean they don't get it, because I believe that they do, and I did when I was a child. So the consciousness is a very clever thing. It's this thing that goes, that is this thing of truth. It's a field of truth. It's like a space of truth. And so you're feeling a bit shit, and you say, it's all right, cheer up, love, might never happen.
Yes.
Or, look on the bright side, you've got a roof above your head, and you're okay, there's nothing actually happening to you, and NLP it out.
90% of it's never going to happen.
And all that. Yeah. So number one, so then consciousness goes, well, that's a load of bollocks. Why do I feel so shit? That doesn't cut the mustard. It doesn't land.
Yes.
So then because, and this is really interesting. So what happened to little Maria as a child is the same thing that's happening to little Marmot having a really shit day. They're being gaslit. They're being gaslit, and they're being told the way that you're feeling isn't really happening.
Yes.
And it isn't really happening to such an extent that you need to chuck a load of modalities and coping mechanisms to just double make sure that it's not really happening. So just wear some pink and put some lavender fragrance on it. I'm not knocking these things. I do all of these things. Yeah. But it depends on the structure of it. And so what's going on the inside is that there becomes a conflict. There's a conflict. So here's a conflict. There's a conflict. I feel really shit. No, you don't, because you've just done your positive affirmations and you've written your gratitude list, right? So there's a conflict on the inside. And then that starts to gnaw away on the inside. Some people feel that very viscerally and get sick and get pain, get autoimmune conditions that are responsive. The body is an organism that is responsive to the external circumstance and to the thoughts. So the thought fields, my own and others, what's in the space, what's in the family constellation. It's all interconnected. It's all talking to each other. And this has been proved by quantum science. This is not woo-woo. There's scientific proof, which I'm not going to go into now, but there is. If you need the science, go look it up.
Yep, there is science on this. Yeah, no, we're definitely starting to prove things that people always used to think were fluffy. It's actually all starting to make sense now.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective and the clients that I powerfully serve their greatness, I don't need to prove it. I just need to get them their results and get them having a life that they really love. Actually, why do you need to prove something when you're having a great life? Again, weigh that one up. Back to the point. So Marmot is then receiving.
There's a conflict. You're breaking
he's in conflict, and the consciousness is in conflict. My unconscious is in conflict with my self-conscious, my everyday consciousness. My unconscious is going, but it's really shit. but you hate your effing job, but blah, 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 and but, blah, blah. My self-conscious going, it's all right, calm.
Yeah.
It's all right, just da-da-da and da-da-da and keep a smile. Don't tell the kids, la, 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 whatever. And then there's this thing called the superconscious. And that is a field of all information. It's a field of what. So imagine like I'm this funnel. I'm going to demo this. So glad I've got proper trousers on, not my pajamas, because normally. So here's my unconscious.
Yeah.
Here's my self-conscious, what I can see here on the self level.
On the surface.
Superconscious.
Yeah.
There.
Okay.
So it's like the letter Y. It's like a yes. It's like a Y. And what that is, like a huge funnel. And what that is, it's a humongous receptor.
Right.
And you know that thing of you just know when you know what's truth. You know what's true for you, no matter what other people say, but you know what's true for you. Truth has a ring to it. It has a ding. It has a sensation. If you're a sensation person, it has a vibration. It might have a sound. It might have a feeling, but you know when you know. Does that land for you? You know when something is true for you, you know that it's true. So using, and I call it your genius field, you can call it your superconscious field, you can call it your higher self, you can call it the Akashic records, you can call me Al, you can call it whatever you want, but it's your field of genius, it's your zone of genius. And that is extremely powerful, because it means that you have access to all information and you can call upon that. So say, for example, we're back to this. So I feel really, really shit. Okay. So then instead, how would I love to feel? Like, what would I love to do? Like, what do you really, really want? This is a question that nobody really asks, because everyone's in problem solving, putting out the fire, but managing, coping. And that's called problem solving.
Yes.
And instead, there's what would you love? What do you really, really want? And this is a question to the heart. This is a question to your soul. This is a question to your genius. It's a question to your being. It's a big question. What do you really, really want? What would you love? What would you love? Because you can have it. It's possible. Everything's possible. Right. So I can see from you that you're in a different field. I can feel tingles. Do you feel something? It's a field. It's an experience. It's going to be woo now. It's a vibration.
No one thinks it's possible. Everyone thinks it's not possible, particularly the English. Because the one thing, I've lived in America, and they're like, yeah, you can do that. And,
you got it.
Yeah, here they're like, oh, that won't work. Oh, I wouldn't do that if I were you. Ooh,
never happened.
That's hard.
Yeah. And there's good reason for that historically, the war and all that. There's good reason that the Irish, the famine, the persecution, all the witches that got killed. There's a lot of reason for why culture is like that here in this country, which is also really interesting, which creates a fantastic, really warped humor, which I really appreciate.
Exactly. We love English. I'm here because I love this country. So despite us having a bit of a drippy attitude at times, but that's why they need us. They need us, Maria. We're here to go like, conscious. Let's
come and have some. Yeah. Did you call me Pocahontas?
No, a super conscious. I think you have access.
Oh, I thought you called me. Please call me Pocahontas. So then what happens? What happens is, so really good analogy, metaphor, is problem solving. So let's just imagine it's that problem solving paradigm is nobody's fault. It's just what everybody does and has always done. Societal structure is based on problem solving. The biggest problem to solve is I have to pay to live. Right? Money. So I've got to earn money and and pay the bill. It's a problem solving paradigm. The problem with that is the problem solving never ends, because focus creates reality. So if I focus on all the problems, I'm focusing on them.
Yeah.
And that's just going to be my current reality. Right? That's just that. So because I'm so busy focusing on the problems, I'm less available to my greatness.
Yes.
Yeah, to my greatness, to what would you love? What do you really, really want? Not what the parents, society, job, boss, children, partner, the earth, whatever. But what do you? And it's radical. It's radical because what I'm saying is I'm asking you, all of you, to put yourself first because you matter. And you're extremely powerful. You're an extremely powerful creator. So a really great metaphor is just simply this: problem solving. And I mean, thing is, okay, I'll say that afterwards. Problem solving is there's a house that's burning.
Yes.
Solving the problem is fire, is water,
Yeah.
is water to solve the problem of the burning. So that's a structure.
Yeah.
It's a structure that's actually broken, that is unfixable. You can do reparations and fix it and stuff, but it's pretty effed.
Yeah.
It's pretty knacked.
Yep.
So that's problem solving power. That's how effective that is. In other words, it's just not effective. It's creative.
Yeah.
It's you can be an excellent problem solver and troubleshooter, like I am, because
you can put the fire out, but it's
I
still
can put fires out. I'm brilliant at that because my life has taught me, like, you do that or you die. So get on with it and be that diplomat and and do all that. But there's the burning house, or there's you can build a new house. There's just a blank slate that you can build the foundations. You can choose how many floors. You can choose everything about the aspect, the lighting, the decoration, the furniture, where it is. You can build, and that's radical. It's two different pathways. One is problem solving orientation, and that will never lead to satisfaction, not deep down, not on a heart level.
Yeah.
Right. Why? Because it's just going round and round and round, and that's why people are so tired. Because they're not creating, they're being creative problem solving, and I was brilliant at that. That's why I can do so many things. Is it your heart's desire? Is it what feels home? Is it what you really enjoy just for the F of it, because it's fun?
Yeah.
So conversely, you build your own house, you start from scratch, because all your life you've just been told how it is and how you need to be. So you didn't build that house that was burning. You didn't actually create yourself. You didn't design. And actually, Tony Robbins says, I created every part of myself. I designed Tony Robbins 100%. And that's very powerful because this is about identity.
Yes.
But you can build that and you can design that. And the thing about being in a creative orientation and choosing what you would love is that all the problems reorganize anyway. When you're focused, because focus creates reality, and really you can just have one focus essentially, and all the other bits and bobs come within that, like when all the birds fly in a flock. So when you're going for what you actually want, you don't need to kick your butt out of bed and go and do that spin class and do all that stuff and survive on 10 coffees. You naturally are motivated to do what you actually really want. There's natural motivation to that. And everything else reorganizes. You might fancy clearing out the cupboard or the spare room, or selling all the stuff, or reconfiguring every part of your life. You might think, you know what, I need to stop eating that stuff. I need to stop doing this stuff that drains me, that I actually really don't enjoy doing. And what I want to choose to do is just those few things that really move the needle forward. And that's about a structure. That's a structure I call it a superstructure. It's a structure. So what I'm saying is, let's not talk about the symptoms and fixing the symptoms. Let's talk about the structure and restructure that structure so that it works for you, because it can do. And when you understand about structural dynamics, it's incredible. It's miraculous. One of my clients has restructured a huge money challenge and work challenge, a history of the lifetime with the parental ancestral lineage on that. And I said, look, none of that's your fault. You were just there. And it's what I've said to myself in the darkest nights of the soul. I've said to myself after 10 tons of crying and hating myself and everybody and wanting not to be here, I've ended up getting to that point of compassion and say, well, how is any of that your fault, Maria? And I'm saying that to you. How is any of that your fault? Because I'm certain that it's just not.
Yeah. So so once we absolve ourselves of the guilt, I think because that then you focus on the guilt, that's a very negative emotion. It drags us down. We can't again access the super consciousness. We become in a negative state, so we just focus more on the problem, and it just goes round and round and round, like you said. I think that happens to most people. I find that a lot of people I know, they accept this is the way it is and it cannot change. And that's my personal what's the word, my mission is to wake people up from that. It's like, no, there is a choice, and there will be a way, and you have to find a change in your mind, a change accessing super consciousness, but there will be a way. You have to choose. What do you want? Where are you choosing to design your life from? Design your life from what happens to you, or design your life because of what you love? And when you really love them, I love horses, so my passion has always been horses, and I've had amazing opportunities in the horse world because it was something that I loved. I got to be a judge at 3 Olympics. I traveled around.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well done, girl.
Competed internationally, coached.
Wow.
It was, and I was told when I was 8 that I could never have my own horse. And it was funny, I could have taken those words and decided that was true, but something inside of me, and we all, I believe that we have a spirit that's come from somewhere else and we go back ancestrally. Something inside me went, well, that's rubbish, that's wrong, and I kicked against it. I'm very sad to say that my grandmother died about 4 years after that, and I went to her funeral and I didn't cry a tear because I was like, well, this is the woman that told me I couldn't have anything that I wanted. And she died a month after she retired of a heart attack. And to me now, understanding what I know, I'm like, that's no accident. She worked because she had to. And then when she retired, the heart was broken. It was like, oh, well, you had this life that wasn't joyous, and now you're retiring, and actually I'm worn out, so we're exiting stage right now. So she didn't get to enjoy any of her life at all, ever. So I learned from that I would never put things off, because I watched what happened to her. She died with this money in the bank, which all went to my grandfather's nursing care fees. So it's like, what a waste. So it is having the vision. Bob Proctor talks about this as well, and he talks about C-type goals. And the reason people don't do anything is their goals aren't big enough. You're not going to get out of bed just to when you get out of bed, I'm going to my job. If you get out of bed to go and do whatever it is that moves you, it's completely different. So I was always lucky. I got out of bed at crazy times to do my horses because I love them. But even that passion eventually expired. You see, eventually I was like, well, actually, I'm not feeling. I feel like I'm here for more. And it was like the little voice, you're here for more, you're here for more. And I did my NLP coaching certificate probably like 14 years ago. Came back, fired up. But that thing where we all get pulled back, like, but I've got lots of clients, I'm doing okay, life's good. And I didn't really do anything with it. But it was there. I'd laid the seed years, and then life changes. It's not my story to say, but that's just, I totally relate to what you're saying. And, if anyone here is listening and you have a little voice in you and it's saying, go do this other thing, listen to it, because the more you pay attention, it'll lead you, because that voice is coming from that super consciousness. We're all here to do what we're supposed to do, but we can only do it if we allow ourselves to be ourselves. Would you agree?
Absolutely, beautifully put. It's also I just think it comes from your heart, and I call that your true orientation of living your true nature and purpose. Living your true nature, something that honors and appreciates your true nature and your true purpose, because there's always satisfaction, there's always fulfillment in that, in going along the pathway that is truly yours. And that's a beautiful adventure. And it's a great adventure to get interested in. And it starts with the question, what would you love? What would you love? And for some people, even that is difficult and upsetting or triggering. And
Wow.
yeah, I was going to say something. Oh, yeah. So there's always more. There's always more, because I believe that we're infinite beings, and I believe that creativity and love and joy and happiness is actually an infinite experience that keeps appreciating. And that is certainly my personal experience. It doesn't diminish, it actually appreciates and grows. So that being said, there's infinite creativity available as well, because there's more experience, there's more availability to more good stuff. So then there's more ideas and more creative, and there's even more interconnections. So typically people come to me and they say, well, what do you really, really want now? Oh, I just want to earn enough money so that I can be comfortable and give my children a good life and relax and da, 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 da. But that's just level one of survival, you know, and then there's level two of being comfortable. But actually we're more than that. So another level is just being overflowing or just downright rich, which symbolically, metaphorically, as well as physically in the bank, it means what you're saying about think big. And there's always more. So I say to people, all right, then. So I play with them, I human. I go, okay, so say you had enough money, like midterm, you know, you've got enough money, everything's comfortable, kids are happy, it's all good, you know, you're relaxed, you tick over every day is comfortable. You know, then what would you like? And they just keep going, like keep pulling, keep pushing the boat out. Like that, then what would you like? Then what would you do? Oh, then and then that's when you get the goal behind the goal that's behind the goal. And it's a beautiful unraveling, flowering process that's multi-layered, because everybody has been conditioned to believe that they just need to keep working, break even, and then if there's a bit left over, then you can go out, have some fun, go to the pub, have some restaurant food, have a holiday, and blah, 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 blah. But the thing is, there's a lot more than that is available to everybody. So if you just push the focus really far out to start with, it just happens quicker. So you get to what you would love quicker than how you think it is, because how you think it is it's just the way that the world works, and the world can work much more efficiently than that. It can, and you can design and create that yourself. That's even more satisfying.
Beautiful.
So there's always more. So I say to people, really, so you telling me that you're in your big posh rich house, you're dipping your toes in the swimming pool, the maid's just brought you out your cappuccino and croissant, and you're reading all day. Are you telling me that then you wouldn't want to do anything? You're just going to lay there and just be a millionaire and just not do anything? You will want to do something, and you will want to create something when you're super mega rich, jet setting, high net worth person. You still are a creative person being that has infinite access to infinite resources, and you will still want to do something. Let's just get straight to the point and wonder what that is.
Gosh,
because
bypass all the crap, go to the end result.
Just bypass it. Yeah, because then when you're in, and one of my clients is really, really showing that, because he's that typical bloke with the mail shutdown with, I don't know what I'm meant to be doing, I don't know what I'm meant to be saying, I don't know who I'm even meant to be. And a lot of people have this going on the inside, and it's not their fault. It's societal conditioning structure. So now this person is doing what he used to do 20 years ago, which was a bit pants at the time. He's now doing it, but bringing his full genius creator self. And he is a different animal. Yeah. He's a different animal. He's loving it, and he's gone and created something completely new. And that's what your genius field does. The genius is when you are able to connect unrelated dots and put them together and go, yeah, these two things actually work. I'm going to put them together. And everyone goes, oh, you can't do that because no. And you go, I can, because that's what I decided, because that's what And then everyone goes, wow, that's an amazing idea. That's genius. I wish I'd have thought of that. Why? Because it's obvious. It's like, wow, that's brilliant, because it's obvious those two things obviously go together. Obviously, what is obvious is that Dolly just needs to ride on the shadow, acknowledge the shadow and the victim, and go, and I choose to ride my horses into the distance. See? And then you keep going on your path. Win-win.
Incredible.
You connect two unrelated dots. I'm not trying to fix the shadow. I'm not clearing beliefs. I don't need to touch that. I just need to acknowledge its presence and choose what I would love again and again and again. There's no work. There's nothing to do.
Even on a minute-to-minute basis, you're saying, right? What would I love right now? So I can imagine people are going to say, well, I'd like to walk out of my job right now and go down and have a coffee. So then how do they deal with the fact that they can't do that?
Right. So you just re-engineer your life. Right. So you either work with me or you do my online course that's extremely affordable and self-study, and or just get some books, or just follow your own genius. Follow your own genius, which, by the way, Harriet Tubman did, and liberated all the slaves, even though she was illiterate.
Wow.
And she followed what she called the spirit, and she liberated thousands of slaves, and she's a hero because she used her genius for the service of humanity, and she's my hero.
Gosh.
She's my hero.
What's her name again?
Harriet Tubman.
Tubman,
I think it's Tubman.
Okay. I've never heard that story. That's incredible.
Well, interesting. She's one of the biggest heroes in history that no one's heard about.
I'm going to, we could talk forever. We are running out of time, but I just want to go back just for a moment. And I'm still missing the bit where you had the bad experience. You did lots of personal development. Then you worked out that there was a whole nother level, this access to the super genius. How did you do that? What was the bit that took you from where you were stuck trying to answer? Lots of people do all this personal development and then their lives never change. How did you get to understand to the other side? Was it particular?
That's such a good question. And really, for me, this was a pivotal point. And actually, that only happened to me a year and a half ago. So up until then, I was trying to fix the bleep out of myself and tragically my husband, which I'm really sorry about, because that's just crap, trying to fix people and trying to coach him. And, that's like saying, look, I don't love you like you are. And so I heard this very key piece of advice, which is really crucial. And my truth, my being accepted that as true. I heard this thing that said, you are not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. You are a powerful creator. And all of those things that you believe about yourself are just not true. They are the core wounds of humanity. Believing that I'm a failure, believing that I'm not good enough. When I experience toxic shame, and I do, all these horrible, horrible shadow feelings are not actually personally mine. They are the core wound of humanity, and everybody experiences them, and everyone does something different and funky with them. But knowing that that is so, and that that's not personal, the shadow isn't personal. It's part of a process called individuation. It's just how we grow up as a little child and need validation and attention in order to, one, survive, and two, to belong in our family. And it's nobody's fault. It's nobody's fault. And I heard this and I thought, you mean I'm not effed up, I'm not broken, I'm not this trauma ghost walking around feeling shit, and you mean I can just start again and create what I would love? Yes. So that's what I did. And it was so life changing that I then got on and taught it, started to teach it, because one of the things that I love is actually teaching. I love to teach because it's giving someone a gift that will always serve them. It's a gift that keeps on giving. Teaching somebody something like whatever you're feeling shit about isn't your fault is a gift that keeps on giving. It's a gift of compassion. It's a gift of love. And that's why I love it.
Wow. I interview lots of people, and sometimes everyone is loving their lives on some level, but I get that you really love what you do on actually a deeper level than I generally get. Like,
appreciate that.
I can feel that you really love this, and this epiphany that you had.
Yeah.
And it's so clear that you're very relaxed into it. It's just like, this is the answer. Of course.
And today I don't need to prove myself. I don't, like, even when people ask me at networking meetings or just at a party. I was at a party the other day, and so what do you do? Or, Maria, I haven't seen you for 20 years. This was at the weekend. What are you up to now? All I say is one line. I say, I powerfully serve people's greatness.
I love it.
That's all I say. And they go, how? I go, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to invite you for a free conversation with me, and I'm going to give you an experience that will change your life. This conversation is going to change your life, and you're going to go walk away knowing what your dreams are, and you're going to walk away with an action plan, and you're going to experience what I do. I'm not going to tell you because that's of no value. Everyone does that.
Yeah. So true.
And people are really clever with words, but I want you to have an experience of it, so that in your bones and in your guts and in your heart, you know what is true for you.
Amazing.
And that's it. Give people an experience. That's another gift.
Gosh. Well, if everyone listening isn't signing up with Maria immediately, then that thing has got you too much. You need to go work with Maria.
Then come and have a cup of tea with me instead.
No, absolutely phenomenal. And we will have all your information so they can go work with you and find you out in the show notes. So when this whoever's watching this now, if you look down below, you've got everything that you need. And you can always contact me if you have more questions, and obviously Maria's information, just go there. We always like to end the show with the simple question, because we're the Dream Team Academy, and you and I are quite similar in many ways. We come at it from a different angle, but we're on the same path. So because you obviously got a huge vision, what is your big dream now for the next step of your life?
Oh, wow. Now, I wasn't expecting that. I love it. I love a good question. My big dream is so that I just want to create, I collect miracles. I want to collect and create my clients, who are my babies, my geniuses that I love with all my heart. I want them to have every part of their life loving it, because I love every part of my life. And I'm really grateful, but I've actually created that. But I know that it's possible for everybody to love every part of their life and themselves and create that dream partner. And my dream is to serve as many people as powerfully as possible. That's why I have a group course, because so many people can do it. I also do one-to-ones. So that's my dream, and just to prove again and again that it's possible to live without challenges, because you're bigger than the challenges.
It's
your greatness is the greatest thing of all. So my dream is for everybody to know that and have that actual experience, not just to hear like a motivational podcast. No, I want you to get on a call with me, but my coffee chat call, and we'll talk and get you into your true orientation, and give yourself your gifts, like receive your gifts, receive your talents, receive your unique abilities, receive everything that you are. And that just takes a structure. You need to just know how to structure it. You have nothing missing.
Wow. Okay.
Amen. Well, thank
Maria,
you.
I'm like,
Thank
they're
you.
dialing now. I can hear they're ringing, they're like texting, they're
Thank you so
WhatsApping, they're
much.
like, we need
Thank
you,
you.
Maria.
Thank you so much for listening to me and asking me. Thank you for being your wonderful self.
Thank you. Well,
Thank
no, it's just wonderful family. Met you through UPW, and I met so many other lovely people. And the Dream Team Academy is about bringing the souls together to help people live their dreams. So it has been an honor to interview you.
I'm honored.
Stay in touch. I would love to touch base in a couple of years, and then we'll like find out what you're doing then. And I expect I'm kind of thinking the Miracle Academy is going to be something out there that like it'll going to be like, remember when we spoke before you started that, and now
Yeah. Well, I intend to speak to you sooner than 2 years. I'm going to give you a booking link, and I'm going to have a coffee chat with you and
I would
hear all
love
about your dreams too, because I would
to
love
do
that.
that. It would be
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Go
you.
and have the rest of an amazing day.
I will now. Thank you. Bless you. Thank you so much for your work.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Dream Team Academy podcast. Tune in for our next podcast soon, where you too can find out how you can make your business dreams come true.